Welcome to this edition of the Somerset Business Success Strategies video blog. Today's posting is entitled Growth Tool Number 7, Filter Out the Noise with the Covey Quadrant 2 Planning System. Today's posting is really in response to a posting at Liz Strauss's blog where she has kind of a periodic series that she entitles, What Do You Do in a World of Too Much Noise? And in this particular posting, she asked for feedback from her readers as to the tools and tips and tricks that they use to filter out all of this noise in our society today. The emails, voicemails, instant messages, text messages, mobile phone calls, mail, physical mail that we receive. Just all of the inputs, the interruptions in our offices, and just all of the inputs that we have in our lives that really cause us to struggle with maintaining a focus on our highest priorities and objectives, and really getting traction and maintaining momentum towards our individual and organizational goals. Well, I went ahead and posted a comment back to her basically saying that, this is a real live challenge of the 21st century. We've got to figure out how we're going to effectively deal with it, because the trend line is that it's getting worse rather than getting better. So we really need to get our arms around these 250 emails a day and everything else that happens to us in a typical workday. So what I really suggested was a 20th century solution to this 21st century problem, which is really to fall back on the Covey Quadrant time management system that he made famous in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and First Things First and books like that. And if you recall from those books, the Quadrant 2 time, that's the planning time. That's where you work on things that are important but not urgent, and that is really the time that you have to carve out in your weekly work routine to pull yourself up above all of this noise and to get this perspective and to filter all of this out and to really work on what is important but not urgent. And focus on your highest goals and objectives, both individually and organizationally. And that this time needs to be scheduled proactively. And I mean proactively. It needs to be scheduled with recurring appointments on your Outlook calendars. It needs to be protected. It needs to be something you approach in a very disciplined manner, and that you don't allow yourself to get pulled away from that unless it's some kind of an extreme circumstance. And that this time needs to not just be penciled in, it needs to not just be penned in, but it needs to be written in blood. It needs to be something that you really approach as part of the disciplined way that you approach your business in your life. And that, that's really what I suggest. And in terms of how much of your calendar you need to block off for this Quadrant 2 type planning time, it really depends on your position in the organization. It depends on the size of the organization, the goals and objectives of the organization. But as a general rule, I would suggest you allocating 20% of your work week at an absolute minimum to this Quadrant 2 Covey quiet study, meditation, contemplation time, and that 20% of your work week will probably yield you 80% of your long-term results based on the application of Pareto's law. So that's my offering for today. That's my solution, my suggestion for this world of too much noise. I would be very interested in your comments and suggestions as well, and would appreciate your feedback. Thank you.